Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about equative, comparative, and superlative degrees, and also about active and passive voice. 3 degrees of comparison are possible in English. Special forms or words are added to the adjectives and adverbs to form these degrees. So we use the equative to show equality, comparative to compare two things that are not equal, and superlative to talk about the number 1 in a group of 3 or more things, 3 or more people. And well, when we have a one-syllable adjective or adverb, for example, in this case, tall is only one syllable. For the equative, we add as tall as. Carrie is as tall as Naomi, so they're the same height. Gran Cali is taller than Rey Misterio. We add er, taller. And he is the tallest in his family. The est, the tallest. For two-syllable adjectives or adverbs ending in y, we say, she is as happy as her friend. He is happier than her. And this egg is the happiest of all the eggs. So as you can see, we use as, and we just leave happy like that. For the comparative, we change the y for an I, and then we add er and then. And for the superlative, we use the, and again we change the y for I, and we add est. Finally, for 2 or more syllable adjectives or adverbs, we're going to say, Cameron Diaz is as beautiful as her sister. So it's the same. Human Fiona is more beautiful than Ogre Fiona. So more than. And Miss Universe, she is the most beautiful girl in the world. So we add the most. So again, for one syllable, as, remember you need it on both sides. For the comparative, er, then, the, est. For 2 syllables ending in y, as, we change the y for I, er, then, the, we change the y for I, est. And for 2 or more syllables, again, as, more than, the most. Some words have irregular degree forms. The most common are, in adjectives, good, better, best. So better is the comparative, best the superlative. Bad, worse, worst. Much or many, more, must. Little, less, least. Far, farther, farthest, or far, further, furthest. So further is more common than farther, but the difference is farther we use it to talk about distance, and further we use it for like more abstract things. Then with adverbs we have well, better, best, badly, worse, worst, much, more, and most, little, less, least, far, farther, farther again, and far, further, further again. So remember the difference between an adjective and an adverb is an adjective describes a thing, a person, a place, right? So it describes a noun. For example, Spanish is good, but English is better. Adverbs, on the other side, are used to describe verbs, to describe actions. So, I can sing very well, but my sister can sing better than me. Okay, so I'm describing not my sister, I'm describing the action of singing. So here's the TOEFL exercise. Although Tom's paper was longer than Alice's, Alice's paper was more insightful than Tom's. What is wrong with this sentence? So the comparative degree has been incorrectly formed. And you can see the problem is here. We do not use that, we use than. Right? So correct answer is letter D, and the correction is more insightful than. Do not confuse it with that. Another example, Professor Clark's chemistry class is blank Professor Smith's. So we're talking about two different people, about Professor Clark's and about Professor Smith's class. We're comparing two things. Okay, so remember we cannot use the superlative because we're not talking about three or more. The problem with letter A is that more than difficult, the order is not correct. And the problem with this is that this is just wrong. We need an equative degree. The correct answer is letter C. As difficult as Professor Clark's chemistry class is as difficult as Professor Smith's. Now let's talk about passive and active sentences. Sentences in English can be either active or passive. What is active? Well, we have our subject, Bruce, the verb ate, the whole pie. Bruce ate the whole pie. When we talk about passive voice, we want to make emphasis on the object, okay? Not on Bruce, but on the pie. So we move it around and we say the whole pie was eaten by Bruce, or the whole pie was eaten. We can include by Bruce, or we cannot include it because maybe it's not important. So how do we make it a passive voice? We need to change the direct object into the subject. Number 2, change the verb to include a form of be plus past participle. So here, look, in the active, my verb is in simple past. So I need a form of be, in this case be, in simple past, was, and the past participle of the verb, eaten. Okay? So, as you can see, el verbo to be que le vamos a poner concuerda con el tiempo, ¿ok? Simple past, ponemos be en simple past. Y este en past participle. And number 3, delete the subject, como aquí que lo borramos, or place it after by, or you can put it here. The TOEFL tests your understanding of the form and meaning of active-passive sentences by forming passive sentences incorrectly or using active voice where passive voice is needed and vice versa. So I'll show you an example of forming passive sentences incorrectly. The answer was new by most of the class. So remember, we have a form of be and then we needed a past participle. So the problem is letter B and the correction is the answer was known. So know, knew, known. This is a past participle. Now I'll show you an example of using active voice where passive voice is needed and vice versa. So it says, the authors of this book have been expressed great concern about the environment. But here we need the active voice because los autores han expresado su preocupación, no han sido expresados, right? Ellos son los que hacen la acción de expresar su preocupación por el medio ambiente. Entonces, como ellos hacen la acción, necesitamos active. Remember, el que hace la acción es active voice y el que recibe la acción es passive voice. Like I showed you in this example. Bruce es el que hace la acción de comer el pie, so this is active. Passive es el pastel recibe la acción de ser comido, right? So in this case, the answer is letter C and the correction, have expressed. O sea, no hay que ponerle el verb to be, no hay que hacerlo passive voice. Here are the references and I'll see you in the next one.